Hello, 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 and welcome back to the AI Cafe Conversations, where we explore the neuroscience of AI leadership, no tech required. This is Sahar, and I am your AI whisperer. Okay, so here's where we are. 2 weeks ago, we talked about why shadow AI exists. Employees hide their AI use because they don't feel psychologically safe. They fear judgment. They fear punishment. They fear being seen as incompetent. If you haven't heard that episode, I really highly suggest that you go and listen to it. Then last Friday, we looked at what that hiding costs you. $10 million. 5 hidden taxes, security risks, wasted spend, compliance violations, duplicate effort, and lost innovation. So now the obvious question is, why don't employees feel safe? What creates that fear in the first place? Because here is the thing, most organizations are not hostile to AI. Most leaders are not punishing people for using AI tools. So why the hiding? That's what I want to work through today. I think the answer is something I call the conviction lag. Let me explain to you what I mean by that. So let me start by talking about what I call the conviction lag. What is the conviction lag? It's the gap between what AI can actually do and what your organization believes it can do. Technology capability, that grows exponentially. AI gets better every month, if not every day. Faster, smarter, more capable. We just saw ChatGPT releasing 5.1, and it's way, I really liked 5, but it's way better. It's so emotionally intelligent. So it doesn't just get the mood, it gets like the nerve pulse of the whole room. It's extremely, extremely good. The technology capabilities, like I said, we talked about it because it grows really fast. But organizational belief, that grows linearly, slowly, through repeated small wins over time. And in that gap between capability and belief, shadow AI flourishes. Here is how I think this works in people's brains. When employees see leadership hesitating about AI, their mirror neurons pick up on that uncertainty. Mirror neurons are the brain cells that fire both when you perform an action and when you watch someone else perform that action. They are how we learn by observation. So when employees watch leadership, their brains are asking, is this safe? Is this approved? Is this smart? And when leadership is unsure, employees become unsure. If leadership hesitates, employees hesitate. But, and here is the catch, employees will need to get their work done. They still face pressure to be efficient, productive, and innovative. So what do? They use AI anyway. They just hide it. Because if leadership isn't sure whether AI use is good or bad, smart or risky, initiative or incompetence, then the safest move is to use AI quietly and see what happens. Does that make sense? Leadership hesitation doesn't stop AI adoption. It just makes AI adoption invisible. That's the conviction lag. Let me show you how this plays out through the 3 executive brain blocks. So the 3 brain blocks that create shadow AI are, I'm going to explain them to you one by one. So, okay, a few weeks ago, I introduced the 3 executive brain blocks. These are neurological patterns that make leaders hesitate on AI decisions. Today, I want to connect those brain blocks to shadow AI. because each one creates a specific type of hiding. And you might ask me, why do I keep talking about shadow AI? Because shadow AI can be so, if used the right way, treated the right way, given the psychological safety that the employees should have, it can actually prosper and make the productivity way better, and cooperation be better, and celebrating wins better, so people can feel euphoric and want to do the same thing again. But if we don't, it costs a lot of money, and it's actually sad to let it linger like that when we can make it better. So let's start with the first one. Brain block number 1, the competency freeze. I had discussed that in a previous podcast as well. The competency freeze happens when your prefrontal cortex detects a skill gap. You don't feel technically competent enough to make confident AI decisions. I see it all the time. Your anterior cingulate cortex lights up. That's the part of your brain that monitors for errors and conflicts. It's basically saying, warning, warning, warning. You don't have enough information to make this decision confidently. So what do you do as a leader? You delay. You ask for more data. You request another pilot. You create a committee to study the issue. You don't say no to AI, but you also don't say yes. And inside of you, you are dysregulated. You are misaligned. You don't want to show that you don't know, but you also don't want to move forward because you are scared of the consequences. So you say, let's wait until we understand it better. By the way, you're not alone. I see it every day, maybe 80% of the executive that I deal with. Now, here is what your employees hear when you say, let's wait until we understand it better. They hear, leadership is not sure about AI. And here is what they conclude. If leadership isn't sure, I better not ask for permission. Because if I ask, they might say no. But if I don't ask, I can keep experimenting quietly. Remember what I told you, what I used to do when I was young? I always said, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission. See what just happened? The competency freeze in leadership creates silent experimentation in teams. Employees don't stop using AI. They stop talking about it. Your hesitation doesn't prevent AI adoption, it makes it invisible. Brain block number 2, the control spiral. Okay, now the second brain block. The control spiral happens when your amygdala responds to AI uncertainty by demanding more oversight. You can fully predict what AI will do. That unpredictability feels like loss of control. Your brain's threat detection system activates. So you add controls. All AI outputs must be human verified, which is actually smart. AI recommendations require manager approval. Here we can become like a bureaucracy. New AI tools need IT security review. Again, it can go both ways. These controls feel responsible, right? You are being cautious, managing risk. And here is what actually happens. The approval process becomes so slow and cumbersome that employees bypass it. Think about it from their perspective, not yours. They need to ship a project by Friday. The AI tool could help them finish it by Thursday, but getting approval could take 2 weeks. What do you think they will do? They use the tool quietly, ship the project, never mention the AI assist. The control spiral doesn't prevent risky AI use. AI use underground where you can see it, you can guide it, and you can protect against actual risks. Your attempt to control AI makes it uncontrollable. Brain block number 3, the certainty trap. Okay, third brain block. The certainty trap happens when your prefrontal cortex waits for complete information before committing. You want to understand AI. I don't blame you. You want to understand it fully before creating a policy. You want to see how the industry evolves. You want to wait for regulations to clarify. Honestly, I'm a person, I jump with both feet first, and then I see what happens and I evolve with it. This feels prudent, right? Why rush into AI governance when the landscape is changing so fast? So here is the problem. While you are waiting for certainty, your employees are facing ambiguity. They have questions like, can I use ChatGPT for brainstorming? Is it okay to let AI write first drafts? Should I tell my manager I'm using these tools? And your organization doesn't have answers because you're still waiting to formulate the perfect policy. So employees fill the vacuum themselves. They make their own judgments. They create their own informal rules. Like, I will use it, but I won't mention it unless someone asks. Or, I will use it for low stakes work, but not for anything important. Or, I will use it, but I will manually verify everything so I can honestly say I checked the work. The certainty trap doesn't prevent policy creation. It just means employees create their own policies. And those policies are hide it. So let me summarize what we just walked through. You have 3 brain blocks creating 3 types of shadow AI. Competency freeze creates silent experimentation. Control spiral creates underground systems. Certainty trap creates policy vacuums filled with hiding. All 3 stem from the same root. Leadership hasn't built conviction. And when leadership lacks conviction, employees fill that void with shadow AI. I'll keep screaming this from the rooftops. The next section that I'm going to be talking about is the conviction lag in real organization and how it works. So let me give you some example of what this looks like in real companies. Number 1, the mixed signals company. Leadership says in all hands meeting, we are committed to AI transformation. We are investing $20 million. AI is, drumroll, the future. But when the rubber hits the road, someone asks about using ChatGPT, the response is, let's check with legal first. A team proposes an AI pilot. The response is, that sounds interesting. Let's do more research. An employee shares an AI success story. The response is, that's great, but make sure you're following our data policies. Every response is cautious. Every green light comes with a yellow flag. Leadership thinks they are being responsible. Employees hear, we want AI, but we are scared of it. So what happens? Employees use AI, but they keep it quiet because talking about AI invites scrutiny. Silence invites productivity. That's the conviction lag right there. Leadership says transform, but behaves cautiously. The gap between words and behavior creates shadow AI. The second scenario, the pilot purgatory company. The company loves pilot. They have run 15 AI pilot in the past year. Every pilot succeeds. Every pilot produces good result, but nothing scales. Why? Because leadership is stuck in the certainty trap. They keep saying, let's do one more pilot before we commit. Meanwhile, employees have already committed. They are using AI in production. They have moved past pilots, but officially, the company is still piloting. Earmark in the air. So employees operate in two realities. Official reality, we are exploring AI cautiously through pilots. Actual reality, we are using AI daily. We just don't tell leadership. That's the conviction lag. Leadership is 3 steps behind where employees already are. The third scenario, the overcautious policy company. This company created a comprehensive AI policy, 30 pages, covers every scenario, reviewed by legal, IT, compliance, and 3 committees. The policy is so comprehensive that nobody reads it, and so restrictive that nobody follows it. It says things like, AI may only be used for non-sensitive applications as determined by your manager in consultation with IT security. Employees read that and think, what counts as sensitive? Who determines that? How long does consultation take? This is going to slow me down. So they don't consult. They just use AI for whatever helps them get work done. And they don't tell anyone. The policy exists. Shadow AI thrives anyway. That's the conviction lag. Leadership created rules without building belief. Rules without conviction won't change behavior. They just make behavior invisible. All 3 scenarios share the same pattern. Leadership is operating from a place of caution, control, and certainty seeking. And I'm not saying this is wrong. How it's applied is what makes the difference. Employees are operating from a place of, I need to get work done, and AI helps me do that. The gap between those 2 realities is the conviction lag, and shadow AI fills that gap. So, how do we close the conviction lag and eliminate shadow AI? I'm not sure that we can totally eliminate shadow AI, but we can at least minimize it. Not through better policies, not through stricter controls, not through more training programs. You close it by building conviction. In leadership first, then it trickles down throughout the organization, like everything else. It starts from the top. Here is how I think about this. Strategy number 1, leadership models transparent AI use. The fastest way to build conviction is to demonstrate it. If you are a leader and you use AI, say so, publicly, repeatedly. In meetings, say, I used AI to prepare for this discussion. Here is what I learned. In emails, say, I drafted this with AI assistant, then edited for our context. I don't know if an email is actually necessary. In presentations, say, I am experimenting with AI for data analysis. Some things were great, some don't. Here is what I'm learning. When employees see leadership using AI transparently, including sharing failures, it signals psychological safety. Remember those mirror neurons we talked about earlier? They fire again. Employees think if my boss can talk openly about using AI, I can too. Transparency becomes the norm, not the exception. Strategy number 2, create conviction rituals. Conviction isn't built through announcement. It's built through repeated practice. Create what I call the conviction rituals. Small, regular practices that normalize AI discussion. Examples: weekly AI retrospectives. 15 minutes where teams share what they tried with AI, what worked, what didn't. Monthly AI show and tell. Cross-functional session where people demo their AI experiments. Leadership AI office hours are scheduled time when anyone can ask AI questions without judgment. These rituals do 3 things. They normalize talking about AI. It's not a special topic, it's a regular one. 2, they build psychological safety. Failures are shared openly, not hidden. 3, they create shared learning. Insights spread instead of staying silent. Over time, these rituals close the conviction lag. What leadership models becomes the organization practices. The third strategy, reframe policies from gates to guardrails. Most AI policies are designed as gates. You can't do this until you get permission. That creates bottlenecks. Bottlenecks create shadow AI. Instead, design policies as guardrails, like, here is what's protected, experiment within these boundaries. For example, gate policy. All AI tools must be approved by AI security before use. Guardrail policy. Don't share customer data with unapproved AI tools. Everything else is fair game for experimentation. Questions? Here is how to get guidance. Notice the difference? Gates say, stop until someone gives you permission. Guardrails say, move forward safely. Here is how. Gates create shadow AI because people bypass them. Guardrails eliminate shadow AI because they enable transparent experimentation. Strategy number 4, measure conviction, not just compliance. Most organizations measure training completion rates, policy acknowledgement, tool adoption metrics. Those measure compliance. What you need to measure is conviction. How many employees discuss AI experiments openly? Or how fast do insights spread from one team to others? Or what's your organizational decision velocity on AI? Conviction meters or metrics tell you whether the conviction lag is closing or widening. If insights spread fast, conviction is high. If insights stay siloed, conviction is low. Measure what matters. Okay, so let me bring this full circle. Shadow AI isn't a policy problem. It's a conviction and neurological problem. We started this series by talking about psychological safety, why employees hide AI use. Then we looked at what hiding cost you, $10 million in 5 hidden taxes. Today, we connected it to the root cause, the conviction lag. When leadership hesitates, employees hide. The 3 executive brain blocks, competency freeze, control spiral, certainty trap, create organization uncertainty. And uncertainty creates shadow AI. But conviction eliminates uncertainty. When leadership models transparent AI use, it creates conviction rituals, redesigns policies as guardrails instead of gates, and measures conviction instead of just compliance. Shadow AI gets minimized. Not because you policed it, but because you removed the condition that created it. Next Friday, we are going deeper into the messy middle, the place where transformation actually happens. Strategic patience, how long change really takes. Then the following Wednesday, we're getting practical. I'm going to give you the 7-day shadow AI surfacing protocol, a step-by-step methodology to make the invisible visible in your organization. Until then, I'm Sahar, your AI whisperer, reminding you, you can't eliminate shadow AI by restricting AI. You eliminate it by building conviction. Show me some love. Save this so when you need to hear it, share it with a leader that actually is going through AI transformation. Subscribe to our podcast. Save it and share it on your social media. I would love that. If you want to get in touch with me, you can email me at sahar@saharconsulting.com. You can reach me on LinkedIn under Sahar Andradi and on Instagram, Sahar the Reinvent Coach. Thank you guys for being here. See you on Friday. This is Sahar, the AI Whisperer, and I'm out of here for now. Again, see you Friday.